Let's go Dolphins! Our beloved Miami team is at a crucial moment in the season, or rather, a difficult and delicate moment. Once again, the Miami Dolphins have left a lot to be desired in their performance in the games, but for some reason, our playoff hopes are still alive. If you believe that the Miami Dolphins will make it to the playoffs, hit the like button. If you agree that GM Chris Grier should be fired as soon as possible, comment like this: out with Grier. We need a new GM for next year. Many fans believe that Tua Tagovailoa is the one carrying the team on his back. Many say that he is the driving force behind the team's playoff hopes. Do you agree with that? Well, I can't say that he is carrying the team on his back, but he has been important for us. Coming off a courageous overtime win against the New York Jets in Week 14, there's a lot to analyze. While the win keeps Miami in the hunt, the cracks in the team's foundation raise serious questions about its ability to sustain success down the stretch. Tua's performance against the Jets was a game-changer, showcasing his resilience and ability to deliver under pressure. The Dolphins quarterback has been nothing short of exceptional since returning from injury earlier this season. His 322-yard, two-touchdown game further solidifies his place among the league's best quarterbacks. In the last month alone, Tua has thrown 11 touchdowns with 0 interceptions, maintaining a league-leading completion percentage and continuing to impress with his ability to execute in high-pressure situations. In the overtime game that gave the team the win, Tua showed poise, completing 6 of 6 passes for 67 yards and a touchdown, cementing a much-needed victory for the Dolphins. This victory wasn't without its challenges. Miami's defense struggled for much of the game, allowing the Jets' offense, ranked 31st in the league, to exploit gaps and create opportunities. The defense's inconsistent performance remains a concern, particularly as they face tougher opponents down the stretch. Despite standout efforts from players like Zach Sealer and Bradley Chubb, whose disruptive play up front led to key stops, the unit as a whole left much to be desired. Jalen Ramsey, usually a cornerstone of the secondary, had a difficult outing against Garrett Wilson, who consistently found ways to make plays. The Dolphins' run game is another glaring issue. For the second consecutive week, Miami failed to eclipse 50 rushing yards, managing just 39 against the Jets. This stark contrast from their 149-yard performance against Buffalo earlier in the season highlights the team's inability to establish consistency on the ground. With defenses frequently employing too high safety shells against Miami, the expectation is to capitalize on underneath routes and complement them with a strong running game. Unfortunately, this hasn't materialized, and it's a trend that could severely limit the Dolphins' playoff potential. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle provided bright spots in the offense, combining for impactful plays despite the lack of explosive downfield opportunities. The duo's ability to adapt and contribute in different ways speaks to their versatility and value to the team. Meanwhile, tight end Jonnu Smith has quietly emerged as a reliable target for Tua, particularly in clutch moments. His connection with Tua continues to grow, and his performance in overtime was crucial. Another concerning factor is the offensive line's performance. While they showed improvement in pass protection this week, their inability to generate consistent push in the run game remains a significant problem. Injuries to key players like Armstead only exacerbate the situation. Armstead's emotional reaction on the sideline underscores the toll this season has taken on Miami's battered front line. Special teams also played a pivotal role, with Malik Washington's standout return setting up the game-tying field goal. Jason Sanders redeemed himself after a missed extra point, converting crucial kicks to keep Miami in contention. These moments underscore the importance of complementary football in grinding out close victories. What's striking is the narrative surrounding Tua's growth this season. Since returning from his concussion, he has significantly reduced turnover-worthy plays and shown the ability to adapt to various defensive schemes. Comparisons to Drew Brees have surfaced, sparking debate about Tua's long-term potential. While it's too early to predict whether he'll achieve the same accolades, Tua's accuracy, anticipation, and leadership qualities are undeniable. These traits have kept the Dolphins afloat despite their shortcomings in other areas. This win keeps Miami's playoff hopes alive, but the road ahead is treacherous. The team must address critical issues, particularly on defense and in the run game, to have a realistic shot at making noise in the postseason. Their inability to convert on critical downs and the recurring penalty issues on both sides of the ball are areas that demand immediate attention. What do you think, Dolphins fans? With Tua playing at an elite level but the team struggling to find balance, can Miami solidify its standing and push through to the playoffs? Let's hear your thoughts. The Miami Dolphins are navigating a tough week following their victory over the New York Jets, as injury concerns dominate the headlines. Star offensive tackle Armstead, who left Sunday's game with a knee issue, has become the center of attention. Initially, fears circulated that Armstead's season might be over, but head coach Mike McDaniel offered some relief by confirming that the injury, while serious, is not season-ending. Armstead will avoid being placed on injured reserve, meaning there's hope for his return later in the season. For now, though, he needs rest, and his absence will loom large as the Dolphins prepare for their next game against the Houston Texans. Armstead has been nothing short of extraordinary this season, earning a Pro Football Focus (PFF) grade of 91.2, the second highest among all offensive tackles. His ability to protect quarterback Tua Tagovailoa and bolster the running game has been a cornerstone of the Dolphins' offensive success. With only one sack allowed and a single penalty flagged against him all season, his performance has been pivotal in keeping Miami's high-powered offense rolling. Now, the Dolphins face the daunting task of replacing him, which presents a massive challenge given the critical role he plays in their offensive line. Stepping into Armstead's shoes is rookie Patrick Paul, a second-round pick out of Houston. Paul was drafted to be Armstead's eventual replacement, but the team likely hoped that moment wouldn't come so soon. His NFL experience so far has been limited, with one prior start against the Tennessee Titans earlier this season, a game that ended disastrously for Miami's offensive line. However, Paul did show flashes of potential in his recent snaps against the Jets. Despite some growing pains, including a controversial penalty for illegal formation, he managed to hold his own against one of the league's better defensive fronts. Now, Paul has an entire week to prepare as the starter, which could make a significant difference in his performance. The situation becomes even more complicated when considering the state of the rest of the offensive line. Kendall Lamb, who is already a backup, will continue to start at right tackle in place of Austin Jackson, who is out for the season. This leaves Miami relying on backups at both tackle positions against the Texans' defense that boasts one of the league's most formidable pass-rushing duos, Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson Jr. Hunter, acquired in the offseason, has been a revelation for Houston, while Anderson, a former top-3 draft pick, is making a strong case for Defensive Rookie of the Year honors. Combined, they've racked up 20 sacks this season, and their speed, athleticism, and physicality will put Miami's patchwork offensive line to the ultimate test. In light of these challenges, expect the Dolphins to lean heavily on a quick pass strategy, a hallmark of head coach Mike McDaniel's offensive scheme. Tua Tagovailoa already ranks among the NFL's fastest quarterbacks in terms of time to throw, and the team frequently incorporates screen passes to counteract pressure from opposing defenses. This approach has been effective so far, with Tagovailoa leading the league in touchdowns on screen plays despite missing 4 games this season. Against Houston's aggressive front, this strategy is likely to become even more pronounced, with a steady diet of screens, quick throws, and misdirection plays designed to keep the Texans' pass rush at bay. With Armstead sidelined and the Texans posing such a formidable challenge, the stage is set for Patrick Paul to prove why Miami invested a high draft pick in him. Can he rise to the occasion and protect Tagovailoa in one of the toughest matchups of the season? Or will the Dolphins' offensive line issues derail their momentum as they push toward the playoffs? Let us know your thoughts, Dolphins fans. How confident are you in Patrick Paul stepping up? Do you think the offensive line can hold its own against the Texans' elite pass rush? Share your opinions in the comments, and let's dive into the conversation.